This is Angela, and today I'm talking about healing the inner you. And it's really the reason why we suffer mental distress. It's because of those silent conversations we have. Um, we have those silent conversations with ourselves in our minds. We are broken. We've been hurt by people we love. Life sometimes, yeah, it turns out rough, and we need to learn to heal. But I think before you can even accept that you need healing, because this Friday I'll actually have an engagement, a physical engagement at Eliana Hotel today in Kampala, Nigeria, Chiwatule Road. And it is about time we learned to take care of our inner selves, to take care of what we are going through, the emotions. How do we heal? How do we get better? How do we even know that we have issues to deal with? So, anyhow, I'm going to be sharing different things, and some of those that I can share, just simple ones, is to learn to speak up. When you're hurting, speak up. When you're hurting, seek help. When you are hurting, there are moments when your silence will help you, but it's very important to speak up. And someone will ask, but speak up to who? Sometimes we need to tell people we are relating to, I don't like the way you're treating me. This needs to stop. And other times, speaking up means sharing your story. When you share that story, you'll definitely be able to be stronger, you'll help another person, you'll hold another person's hand. And I believe in that so much because in my book, Breaking Free, I wrote about my experience, my recovery bipolar journey, and that experience changed my life because it's no longer about me, really. It has never even been about me. It's about reaching out to a hurting world and speaking to the hurting world and helping people. So, one of the other tools, like I said, speak up, seek help. One of the ways we can seek help, we start with what we have. I actually have my little journal here. I call it, my daughter, I call it my happiness diary. And I put my little picture there when I was a little girl. So in this journal, I get to write. I get to write my thoughts. I get to process the thoughts. And one of the important things for you to see to heal that inner you have to acknowledge that you're hurting. If you don't acknowledge it, you can't heal. So after you have acknowledged, do start writing down. How am I feeling? How is it? How is it helping me to be a better person? Where do I need help and support? And I believe so much in peer support. So seeking support from other people's stories is very important. Sharing those stories is very important because when you share, you realize that you know what? There's always something to learn from another. Know your worth. I said speak up. We can use another tool to write, but also it starts here in the mind. Know your worth. One of the things I'll say with passion, my epiphany happened when I had the breakdown. But interestingly, the breakdown made me realize that, you know what? You have more pain than you realized. So I realized, you know what? I actually have more pain than I thought I did. So because I realized that there was more pain than I really understood there was, I learned to read the Bible. I'm a Christian, so reading the Bible is very critical to my faith walk, but it has been very critical to my healing journey because when I read the Bible, Psalm 139, verse 14, I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful, and that I know full well. That did it for guess what? I am fearfully and wonderfully made. What better message do I need? I began to know my worth. Know your worth. I began to know that I add value. I bring value to the table. I began to understand that. And when I understood that, the dynamics changed. These conversations we have in our minds, because the devil is after your mind, the battlefield of the mind. Those conversations had better be seasoned with beautiful thoughts. Isaiah 62. Wow. In that book, it says, I am like a royal diadem. I'm a royal diadem in the hands of my God. When you do more research, a royal diadem is basically a precious crown for royalty for women with precious stones. That's who I am in the hands of God. That's who you are in the hands of God. Can you imagine that? Then, when you begin to realize, my builder marries me. That is all in Isaiah 62, by the way. My builder marries me. Think about that. It shows intimacy. So when you need that healing, you need to learn to get intimacy with God. Because when you have intimacy with Him, you will understand why you need help. You'll understand where you need support. And be very careful where you seek support. You need to seek support from somebody with a value system that adds good to you. It adds value to you. It adds worth to you, not someone who will demean you. So, in a nutshell, healing your inner self, it will take boldness to speak up, because sometimes people, I have to emphasize that, to emphasize it, because sometimes people are tired of certain cycles in their lives, but they are not bold enough to speak up. No one is going to change. Show people, you know what? Once upon a time, I used to tolerate the way you treated me, the disrespect, the disregard, the neglect, the abandonment. Now, it's a new season. Arise and shine, for the glory of God shines upon you. Arise and say no more abuse, no more disrespect. I hope I make sense when I say that. So when I talk about healing the inner you, get that space, identify that space where you can identify that space where you can be you without being afraid. I identify that safe space where you can, you can talk and not be judged. I know there are things, there are mistakes we've all made in life and we need help, but you also need a place where you can talk, be safe, but also commit to the journey of recovery. Commit to heal you. Commit to make your healing a priority. There's a friend of mine who actually said something that unless you take time to heal, you'll never know what your worth is. And it's very important you take time to heal, because when you heal, you have value that you add to the world. There's something you're bringing to the table. There are people you're helping because you have healed, because you are making it count. So please hit the subscribe button. And as you hit that subscribe button, please, I need to hear from you. How has it worked for you? What are you doing to seek your healing? What spaces are working, or have you identified where you go? Because one of those spaces that I established is called Heart to Heart. It's a space where we support people who have lived experience with mental health challenges, people who are caregivers, people who are passionate about mental health, because at the end of the day, we all have mental health. But we don't want you to get to a place of crisis. But even though you have got to a place of crisis, there is hope. My story is one of those testimonies that there is hope. So as we share our stories, what is your story? Everyone has a story. Don't be afraid to share your story.